Hi everybody, it's Karen. Friday Flowers with Karen. Okay, so we're gonna do something different today. Let's see, get my camera situated, I'm not sure. So you can see me and you can see what we're gonna do. We're gonna do something different today. We're gonna plant some succulents. And I've never done it before. So I looked up on Pinterest and I found some beautiful, what spurred me to do this was I went to Lowe's and I was at Lowe's for something else and I saw all these succulents and they were so cute. There's just a whole bunch. I will post a picture of all of them, but they're just adorable, right? So I found these succulents and I thought, I've never done this before. I've got a couple birthdays coming up. So I thought, what a great gift. You know, I never know what to get people, but I thought something like this might be really fun. Okay? And something new and exciting. And since I'm talking about shifting your perception, I thought doing something different would be fun. Okay, so let's see how it goes. You probably know more about succulents than I do, and I'm gonna get a lot of good comments, I hope, about what I'm doing wrong here. So let me know. First, I'm gonna get some gloves, because usually I work with flowers, and I have no problem getting dirty. But I figured since I'm doing this on here, I should act like I care about, you know, you can see I'm not really one of those mani-pedi people. I'm a petty person. You get it? I meant I'm a pedicure person, but I'm not a manicure person because I break them. But it sounds better that I'm a petty person because I am a petty person. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I found this bowl again at my friend Nancy and Florence's house. They have this wood bowl and I already put rocks in it. So I put some rocks in the bottom because they had them. They have everything, these girls. I love them. And I'm at their house, by the way. That's where I film. And they're very good friends of mine and they've been huge encouragement in what I'm doing here. So shout out to them, right? So I put some rocks in the bottom just because I read that succulents do better in shallow containers. But this one's wood and it's just so charming. It's like chipped paint. I just love vintagey looking stuff. So I'm gonna start with that and I'm gonna start with some potting mix, and I just have this cactus, palm, and citrus potting mix, Miracle-Gro. I always buy Miracle-Gro because I need all the help I can. And it said in there, when I was Googling beginners succulent planting information, that if the succulents are wet, then you don't have to water them when you plant them. So these are already wet. I've been watering them until I had time to plant them. So I'm gonna put the dirt in. And it also said, I guess the biggest way succulents die is people overwater them and they drown. So that's why you don't want too deep a dish because the roots get lost. The roots like to be more compact. And it said you could also plant them like 1 inch apart or really tight together to make arrangements. And I always like the look when they're really tight together. So I'm gonna try that. So I'm gonna fill this pot with soil and I'm gonna start potting. And while I'm potting, I'm gonna talk to you about shifting your perception. You know, I talk a lot about that. And it's because it's like, to me, the biggest secret of the 21st century. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start in the middle here. And I'm going to go with height. So this one right here is about my tallest one, okay? You're supposed to pick plants, like Google them all. I should be Googling every single one of these I have and finding out what kind of water needs it has because those are the ones you plant together. I'm not gonna do that. Just like everything else in my life, I am going to wing it and see what happens. I like to learn from experience, and if one dies, I'll replace it with something else. I'll figure this out, but you know, I'm not really a by-the-book gal, if you haven't figured that out yet. So I'm just gonna take this off, and it says, and like it says, it's wet. I'm gonna try to loosen this up a little bit, but I'm not gonna do too much. Maybe remove a little dirt. Ooh, I don't even know if that's deep enough. That's really, my little bowl is not very deep. We're gonna find out if this works or not. Let's just try it, okay? What you need me to do, really, is just show you not pictures of this when we're done, but pictures in 3 weeks. See if it's dead. Okay, well, let's just go with that. I'm just gonna plant that. Okay, let me keep talking. So the biggest secret, I think, of the 20th century is how to shift your perception, okay? So when I got sober, I started really, you know, as you know, I help a lot of people, and I really am interested in how this thing works. I mean, even though you don't have to know how it works for it to work for you, but I am very interested in knowing how you can take a person who is just a mess, right? Their life is falling apart. This is called a flapjack. How fun is that? Somebody whose life is completely falling apart, and you can take them through 12 simple steps. And if they do what they're supposed to do, their life completely changes. Their outlook on life changes. Everything changes, right? I'm so amazed at that. And so I really kind of want to know why. I've wanted to know why. And myself, I've had a huge shift. I'll tell you what it is. I wasn't going to tell you here, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you. 2 days ago, there was a woman that I actually, you know, I helped. I met her on AA Women, a Facebook group of women trying to get sober or supporting others that are getting sober. And let's see, what do I want to do next? I want to do something right here with a little color, I think. I think I'm going to do this one. Woohoo, look at that. Okay, so all of these are pretty deep. I don't know if my container's deep enough. We're going to try. Oh, wow, look at how deep that is. Shit, if I'm doing this right. I don't know, you guys. I don't think that's gonna work. Let's try it anyway. Let's try it anyway. My famous last words. My brilliant thinking. Anyway, so she was sharing about how she had been estranged from her father for like 35 years. And it was one of those things that you just finally accept, you know, when you get older. I'm sure lots of you know what I'm talking about, where you just go, okay, well, that's it. And she came to AA and she did the steps and she got an answer. But when she did her resentments, she never put him down. And the reason she didn't put him down is because she really didn't think it was a problem. She really kind of just wrote it off, right? What I'm doing is I'm just trying to tuck all those roots in there on fresh dirt. Okay, it might be kind of moundy, but I think they're gonna grow down in there deeper and it's gonna be okay. Okay? So don't worry too much about these succulents. They're gonna be okay. I think of them like little friends and I want them to be happy. I love planting. I love flowers. I love anything living, pets. Except for rats. I don't like rats. So anyway, she was sharing about this dad she has that she's estranged from. And she did her steps, she got through everything, and all of a sudden this guy shows up, right? He finds her after 35 years. Well, that pissed her off right there, right? And then the fact that he kind of wants to come back, and she's like, God, are you kidding me? I mean, I totally related to this. I'm adopted, and I had abandonment issues, and then the parent that had adopted me, we never bonded. I don't think that's his fault. I think that just happens. I think people need to talk more about that. I was not really his child. And he and my adopted mother were having marital problems anyway. So it wasn't a good thing. And they adopted me, and then they broke up, and he never really kind of took to me. I think he tried to really bad. He really tried to, but it just didn't work. And because of my adoption, I think I needed more help, more attention than he could ever possibly give. I don't think anybody could have given me the attention that I needed as a little girl because of my own needy abandonment issues. I mean, Jesus. So anyway, But, you know, I kind of went through my life feeling abandoned, unloved. I know there's people like that that aren't adopted and haven't been, you know, abandoned, that feel that way. But when I turned 18, I ran into him at a funeral that he did not know I was going to be at, obviously, or he would have told me he was coming to the state. And he didn't even call to like say, hey, I'm going to be in Washington. Do you want to see me? Now, I don't know why. I didn't ask. All I did was take it personally. It was about me, and I wanted my dad to love me, and I wanted him to say, oh, I'm coming to Washington for a funeral. Can I see you? And I don't know if they had something else planned. I don't know if anything. But I saw him there, and I just walked up to him. And one thing that always bothered me was every time he wrote me a letter to me and my brother, who was his natural son, he'd say, the first part of the letter was always, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I have been so busy. Oh, I've been so busy. And so I walked up and I said, hi. I said, I haven't heard from you. I haven't seen you. I'm so shocked to see you here. I'm surprised you didn't tell me you were coming. And he said, I've been so busy. And that was it. I just totally broke down, and that was it. I was done with him. And I haven't talked to him for 35, 40 years. And he's alive, and I haven't talked to him. I have, however, recently had communication through social media with my stepmother. And the last time I even said, give him my love, right? Tell him I said, I hope he's well, and send him my best, something like that. Because I don't have a resentment anymore. But that's my point. So I had this major feeling that I was abandoned. I was unloved. I was a victim. I just grew up this victim, even though, you know, I played it off as being a real tough girl. You know, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't hurt me. Always leaving relationships before I could get left. Sound familiar? Anyway, she was sharing the other day her experience, and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, that's me. And then I thought, wait a minute, that was me. I haven't thought about that shit for a long time. I haven't felt abandoned or unloved for a long time now. Like, when did that happen? Like, it was even a part of me, I didn't even remember I was like that, right? How annoying was I? Love me. Me. So I sat there, and I was like, she was sharing, and I was having this big aha moment. Do you know what I mean by an aha moment? Just this big revelation that I had changed. And I was like, when did I change? When did this happen? When did this occur that I quit being such a victim and I started caring about other people? When did that shift happen? Well, it was a shift in my perception, the way I viewed my life. Now, I'm a big follower of Bob Proctor. Do you know who Bob Proctor is? He was in The Secret. And I'm sure all of you have seen The Secret, because we all think that if we just think about what we want, we're going to get it. Well, that's only one piece of the puzzle, and Bob Proctor really talks about that, and he talks about the paradigms in our life. I talk about perception, but perceptions are ways to change your paradigm, and paradigms are the stories that we're born with. I know this seems like I'm getting really heady, but it's kind of the revelations I've had lately I'm sharing with you during this intimate, succulent talk. Okay, so I like this so far. I put something kind of hanging over the edge. It's looking pretty good. So I'm going to keep going, see what I can come up with. I think I want something tall over here. So anyway, he talks about changing your paradigm. And a paradigm is the way you thought about something for a long, long time, right? Since you were born. You've heard it, you believe it. There's certain paradigms that have just recently changed in our world. One is that, you know, a family consists of a mother, a father, married, that all child, you know, births you have to be married, right? That's one paradigm that has shifted. We know a lot of single mothers that have decided to have babies that are not married. right? So we've shifted that. We've shifted about, hopefully, most of us have shifted, about a family being a male and a female can now be two females or two males raising children and being part of the community. I mean, there's been some big shifts in our paradigms as a group, as a whole. But I want you to think about the paradigms you live with, okay? Like me, my paradigm was I was a victim. I was unloved. I was abandoned. I was never wanted. That's what I thought. And I thought that for good reason, because it seemed apparently true, didn't it? The parents I had and the parents that even adopted me didn't really want in, right? For whatever reason that is. My paradigm was, I was a victim of this world. I was an unloved, unwanted child. That was my paradigm. Now, when I got to Alcoholics Anonymous, and I had other paradigms, and I still do, but people, you know, have paradigms about money, about how wealthy people are evil, how, you know, there's a whole bunch of stuff. You've just grown up in your area. A lot of it is environment, what you've heard as a small child, what you've grown up with. Those paradigms are powerful. And to change your life, you have to change your paradigm. And I have found that to be the same in recovery. I hear people come in to recovery and they say, I'm a chronic relapser. That's their paradigm. They believe in their mind that they get sober and relapse, and get sober and relapse. And that is their paradigm. And I always think to myself, oh, quit saying that. You know, you're just bringing more of that, right? Well, how do you change that? How do you change that kind of thinking when you know that these things, and you see people do it all the time. You see people go into the penitentiary and somehow they come out with a new way of thinking, right? They come out with a shift in their paradigm. And most of the time, they found God, or they've studied, they've changed something about themselves, right? So what happened with me in my little paradigm? Well, now I'm gonna do a little shorty, a little cutie, just a little filler. And they're still all so deep. I hope I'm doing this right. I hope you live, babies, live, live. I think they will, and I think they'll thrive because of love. Okay, so I came to Alcoholics Anonymous with this victim mentality, really thinking it was everybody else's fault. It's because the reason my life has gone bad is because I'm adopted. The reason my life has gone bad is because I'm abandoned. The reason my life has gone bad because I had a kooky stepdad. You know what I mean? I had no father figures. I had, I had to do this, blah, 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 all these excuses, of who I was. And when I did the steps, it shifted my perception. Now, what does that mean, shift my perception? Okay, let me see if I can show you. I don't have a book here. Let me see, what can I use? If I show you, okay, I show you this, right? But you're looking at it from the top, like this. So I say, what do you see? I see a circle. I see a circle. There's an inside thing. I see a circle. That's what I see, a circle. But I'm standing over here. What do I see? I see that. I'm not really sure what that is. It's kind of oblong. It's got a shallow thing on the bottom. It's blue. And you're up in the air looking down on it, and you say, no, it's black, and it's a circle, right? So I'm seeing it from one side. You're seeing it from the other side. Are you wrong? No, because you're looking at it from a different angle. Am I wrong? No, because I'm looking at it from another angle. So what I'm suggesting to you is that anything you see in your life, if you shift your perception and move to another angle, be open-minded enough to see it from another person's view, the whole thing changes, right? The problem might even disappear. It's that you're locked and loaded on what you see, the visual proof. This is not a circle. Hello, that's not a circle. Well, I guess it is a circle. It's blue. It's blue. It's like a really cool, vintagey blue color. That's what it is. It is not black. Well, I guess it is black. See? But I have to get rid of some of that ego. I have to deflate my ego a little bit to even admit that you might be right. Maybe I'm not seeing it right. So how can you get to the other side? How can you get a different angle on things, right? Like with this bowl, it's pretty easy because I just turn the bowl. But sometimes you have to turn. You have to take the action and move. Oh, there is a hanging plant over here. From this way. I don't see any hanging plant. All I see is straight up and down plants, right? So how do I do that without shifting the bowl, without the world changing for me? How do I move myself from here over here? How do I see? Oh, there's a little hanging plant hanging over the edge. Isn't that pretty? How do I see that? One of the easiest ways, this is a big aha. Now, it's not a surprise. This isn't something I just made up. This is just putting the pieces together, okay? So don't think, oh, well, this wasn't, you're not the first to talk about a gratitude list. But when I went to treatment 28 years ago or something, they had us do this gratitude list, which I thought was stupid. But I didn't understand they were trying to shift my perception. They were trying to get me to see something different. And that is the easiest way to shift your perception. Immediately go to gratitude. Immediately. So I was talking to this, woman the other day, and what was it? Some luxury. Oh, I know. She had purchased a great big TV, 55 inch or something, for her bedroom. And she was going to put that in her bedroom and put like the 48 inch in there in her sunroom, and the one in the sunroom on the patio, and, you know, outside. And it was just really this wonderful little project she had. And she was so upset because the guy didn't make it, who was going to move the TVs. Right? He didn't show up. And she said, oh, she was acting like this was the worst thing that ever happened. And she said, well, the good thing. And I said, no, the good thing is everything. There's no bad thing here. It's all the way you look at it. You can think, well, the good thing, you know, the bad thing is that this guy didn't show up and I don't get to see my TV. But the good thing is you got a big TV in your garage and it's paid for. The good thing is your other TVs all still work, right? We're not out of TVs, well, because he didn't come. The good thing is, I mean, it's all the way you look at it. How are you going to look at it? Is it a shit day because the guy didn't show up to put in your fancy TVs? Or is it like, oh my God, this guy is going to help me put in my new TVs? Like, oh my God, I'm so excited, right? I have enough money to buy these TVs. I have a home to put these TVs in. I have money to pay a guy to put them in. Do you see what I mean? It's all your perception. That is where the power lies. I say all the time, if you watch me, I say, it's not so much what happens to you, it's how you respond to it. That's what I mean. How do you react to things? Now, the beauty of the steps is it shifts your perception. And the reason it works so well with alcoholics and addicts is because if you try to tell an alcoholic addict, you're ungrateful, you're being silly, you know, they'll be just like a big iron gate closes down and they can't hear you anymore. But with the steps are something that they have to do themselves. And when you do the work on something yourself, you can't argue it because you're the one that did it. That's why so many people don't want to do the steps. They'd pay someone first to do the steps because then they'd have someone to blame. So the steps provide you a way for you to look at it. It's also a very spiritual thing that you only see what you really can see. Like, it's not going to bring up stuff. People are worried about their trauma. The spiritual world isn't like that. You're not going to, that stuff will come up later when you're more apt to handle it. So you don't have to worry about stuff flying up in your face and being knocked off, you know. You just, oh, that looks pretty good. Let's put another one in over here. So I'm just keep trying to pat this down because the roots were much taller than I thought to go in a shallow dish. So I'm just trying to squish them down. Now succulents do better in a shallow dish because the roots don't need that big dish to get lost in. And a lot of people like I said, over water succulents, which is why they die, is because they're drowning. Let's see, I'd love to put one right there and one right there, but I don't know if I have a small enough one. In fact, I wonder if I can break one in half, and that's what I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna try to see if I can split it off and make just a little teeny tiny succulent. Let's try it. Let's try it with this one. Let's try it with that one. It looks like this one is little teenies. Oh, look at their individuals. Perfect, that's what I needed. Thank you, God. See, it's all the way you look at it. So you got to shift your perception. And I always say, it doesn't have to be a big shift, okay? It doesn't have to be a 180 shift. It could be a 1 degree shift. Just 1 degree could change the way you look at something. If you've got something terrible going on in your family and it's just devastating you and you don't know how to handle it, see if you can look at it a different way. First, use the tool of gratitude. Is there something you can see differently? That's why it helps to go to meetings. People will help you see a different view. They'll help you see a new way to look at it. You can listen to their stories. You can listen to tapes, YouTube. Try to get a new hit on it, because if you're stuck in your own thinking, it's very hard to see the round black circle when all you see is blue pot, right? Does that make sense? I'm talking about this if you're not following me. So I really like this. I think there's a couple blank spots. So I'm gonna go in those blank spots. And since I've got these ones, see the difference is these are the great big huge ones. And these came in these little teeny tiny four person things, like little 4 legs. And they come out easy as little individuals. So the next time I shop, I'm gonna make sure I get ample of these because I didn't really wanna see any dirt. Hopefully these are gonna kind of fill in and grow, and I don't wanna see any dirt. I like them really tight. I like that look. I like this one. I think this is really pretty. I got some height, I got some color, I've got texture. Let's see if I've got any other holes I don't like, because I've got one more of those. I don't like this right here. Let's go in here. So the steps, when you do the steps, when I did the steps, they showed me that I don't know everything. I have to get some ego out of the way. I have to be open to looking at things a different way. I have to leave people alone that see things different than me. I don't have to convince people. No, it's blue, God damn it. Don't you listen to me? You know, when they're going, it's a circle and it's black. You know, I don't do that anymore because I know they see it differently than me. And they're probably right? They're probably right. That's a huge relief, that word, that little phrase. They're probably right. I could be wrong. Never said that before recovery. I was never wrong. What an obnoxious person to be around. You've ever been around those people? Ugh, hideous people. Drive you crazy. Okay, I like this. I like this. I think this is good. I'm afraid if I put too much in, they're not going to go crazy. And I want them to go crazy. Okay? So, can you see my little succulent pot? I think it looks really pretty. Okay? So, shift your perception. Figure out ways. Google, how do I shift my perception? One is consistency. That's why you're consistently supposed to go to meetings. Because your perception is like one of those sprinklers when you're a kid. You start to shift your perception, and what happens? You gotta start over. Consistency, so it doesn't snap back, okay? Open-mindedness, new information, gratitude. Those are the things that'll soften up your view and let you think, well, maybe I don't get it. Maybe I don't see it right. Maybe if I just saw this different. right? I mean, think of that 9/11 whole thing. Did you ever see that thing where they talk about the people that didn't make it to work that day? Someone's elevator broke, someone stopped for coffee, and there was a huge line. I mean, there was a bunch of stories about why people weren't in the building that day. And at the moment, they seemed very bad. But if they could have shifted their perception and thought, maybe there's a reason I'm not supposed to be on time today, right? I'm sure they were pretty happy afterwards, if you know what I mean. We don't know what's best. You got to shift your perception. Try to see someone else's point of view. If you think you're chronic alcoholic, you got to shift that perception. If you're not chronic alcoholic, chronic relapser, if you think all you do is relapse, you need to change it. You need to paint the picture of what it looks like to be sober. You need to think about that and act like that person 24 hours at a time. What does a person look like that stays sober? They go to meetings. They go to 1 or 2 meetings a day. They've done the steps. They help others. They do their prayer and meditation in the morning and at night, right? They're trying to be of service wherever they're at. Start doing that. Take the body and the mind will follow. I hope you enjoyed today's Flowers with Karen, little succulents, and talking about shifting your perception. I talk about this a lot, so if you want more information, please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, Karen Gardinier. You can check out my Facebook page, my Instagram page. I'm all over the place. I'm even on TikTok. Yikes. And I have a website where you can reach me. We can talk about this more if you'd like, KarenGardinier.com. Have a great day, everyone, and thanks for watching.